Ed? And are you friends, the two of you, or became friends?
It's my first time here from Milwaukee, Oregon.
Oh, thank you for coming all the way. What attracted you to come? What made you come here?
I have a friend by the name of David
Uh-huh.
who lives in Tualatin, and we're both yogis, and I felt the need for Sangha, for
Nice.
fellowship.
What's David's last name?
Winter.
We have another David, who's David Thornton.
Yeah.
So,
I think he was going to be to the festival, come to the festival next weekend.
oh, nice. Thank you for coming. And yourself?
My name is Juan. I am taking a world religions class at Portland State, and so one assignment was to go and experience a ritual with a different religion than one that I was raised in. So.
Good. And are the two of you together? Or?
Yeah, that's my dad, and then we're here with Sri Pradal.
How do you know her?
Through him, through
Work,
work.
okay. At Amazon? No. You sounded happy when I said Amazon. You said no. Okay. And then on that bench?
My name is Oliver.
Oliver?
I live in Hillsborough.
Nice to see you, Oliver. Yeah, sure. We're having some technical thing here going on. And I think I've met you, right? The two of you?
I haven't been to the Christian temple since the year 2000 when I was in Southeast 54.
Yes, the one near Powell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to go there. They closed in 2003, like summer of 2003.
And your name's still Daryl, right? I'm Mike Savage, and this is my friend who drove me here today.
Okay, Daryl, nice to meet you. Okay, anybody else here for the very first time? If devotees can come closer, those of you that are sitting, fine, but you can come closer. Janata Prabhu, come sit. You can bring your chair. Thank you, Oliver. Those of you that are comfortable sitting, sit. That's okay. It's hard to see because there's so much glare, and then I'm just seeing shadows of people. So today I was going to speak on a topic that's important to most of us called, last time I spoke about humility being a symptom of love. I think some of you were here. Oh, wonderful. And so you guys can see the slide okay? So today I was going to speak about a topic called remembrance. And this is obviously a very important topic for most of us. And kind of on a personal reason, the reason I'm speaking about this is my uncle, whose name is Gaurachandra Prabhu, left his body at 7 this morning. And he was the one who introduced me to Krishna consciousness when I was just starting 10th grade in high school. And, he was like the Shiksha Guru. I was a student in a low middle class neighborhood in Chicago. And he asked me, "Who are you?" I said, "I'm a 14-year-old kid, or a 13-year-old kid. I don't know anything." And then he took 1 week, and the 1972 Macmillan version Bhagavad Gita, he spoke through that for 1 week and highlighted certain important things. And from him I received the inspiration at that time in 10th grade to read Bhagavad Gita every day before going to school. And I still have that Bhagavad Gita with me with my underlined, crooked underlines and all that. And then I met him in India, and for 1 month we used to go for 3-hour walks. It was almost like going for walks with Srila Prabhupada, where he would just speak, repeat what Srila Prabhupada said. He was initiated by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj in 1978 in Houston, and I was very fortunate. Srila Prabhupada said on the day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj's disappearance that Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, my spiritual master, found me in a dark place and made me fortunate. And then Srila Prabhupada said, I found you in a dark place and I made you fortunate. Then he said, and I heard that all the disciples said, Jai Srila Prabhupada, and then Srila Prabhupada said, now you go and make others fortunate. So I received that, and I think all of us are here because the bhakti in somebody's heart moved us, moved us to undertake the endeavor of going through the process of bhakti. So because of that, I remember seeing him last year at the Temple Presence meeting in Houston, and he was sitting there with his headphones on, and he did this every day for untold number of hours. He said, for me, hearing from Srila Prabhupada is enough. That's all I need to do. And that's what he did. And this morning when he left his body, my wife who was there, Bhakti Rasa, was saying that a devotee came into the room and said, who is that? And there was a photo of their deity, Shishi Radha Neil Madhav. Very beautiful deities. Krishna's face looks like a moon. They're huge, of course, because they're in Texas. But he said Shishi Radha Neil Madhav, and then he took his last breath. That was the very last thing he did. So, so it's all about remembrance. When we look back at our lives, we oftentimes see important events that moved us, enthused us, gave us inspiration or gave us sadness. The passing away of beloved ones, excelling in something, getting married, meeting our parents after a long time. For those of you who live in India, your parents are there. Just remembering them brings feelings right into it brings bhav into our heart. So, but remembrance is particularly important for us in how we live this life and future lives. So, Krishna says, in chapter 8, Hare Krishna, nice to see you. So in chapter 8, it's called Attaining the Supreme. Attaining the Supreme. And it starts out with Arjuna asking 8 questions, and the 8th question, some people say 7 questions, but 8. And the 8th question is displayed here. He asks technical things, and then he says at the end, being Arjuna, being who he is, and how can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? How can those engaged in devotional service, that's us, in bhakti, know you at the time of death? Srila Prabhupada says, Prayana Kale in this verse is very significant because whatever we do in life will be tested at the time of death. At the time of death, the bodily functions are disrupted. Why? Because the bodily functions are disrupted and the mind is attached to the body. So then the soul goes through distress. And the mind is not in a proper condition. Thus disturbed by the bodily situation, one may not be able to remember the Supreme Lord. Now, that gives us a hint on what's going to come. Because Arjuna is asking, Arjuna is a student, in a way. Student in life. And his teacher is God, whose name is Krishna. Krishna means one who is beautiful. And so Krishna and him are having a conversation in the middle of a battlefield. And Arjuna, the student, wanted to go in the middle of the battlefield, he was a warrior, and see who the opposition was, who was he going to fight with. And so Krishna was his charioteer. And he took him to the middle of the battlefield, And Arjun saw across the big battle, there were millions of people there, and there's archaeological evidence that this occurred in India. And Arjun saw on the other side his loved ones, his grandfather, his teacher, his cousins, etc., his respected elders. And Arjun said, how can I fight against those that I love? So his identity was as a warrior and a prince. And God, being who He is, all-powerful, could have taken care of the battle without the need of Arjun. But God created an identity crisis for Arjun, where once he saw all those others, he forgot who he is. Identity crisis. And then God explained to him who you are, that you're a spirit soul, you're not the body. Under illusion, you think you're the body, but you're not that. And through that came the entire Bhagavad Gita. The first chapter is called the Yoga of Despair, Arjun's despair. And then the entire rest of Gita is to bring Arjun out of despair. Depression. Identity crisis. So Gita contains 18 chapters, 700 odd verses. And we have it here, since you're a student, you can obtain one. And those that are interested in spiritual life can obtain it too. So Arjun asks him, how can those engaged in devotional service? Devotional service is called Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means to be connected. Bhakti means to be connected to the heart of Krishna. How can those engaged in devotional service know you at the time of death? Bro, you can sit over here. You don't have to crank your neck. So this gives a hint where Srila Prabhupada says, remembrance is difficult when one is about to leave the body. So, remembrance is called smaranam. It's important. And Krishna speaks the rest of the remaining chapter 8 on how to remember. The question is what to remember. So, Krishna says, Anta kayali chama eva smaran mukta kalivaram ye priyati samabhavam yati nashti atra samasyaha. Translation, and whoever at the end of his life quits his body remembering me, meaning Shri Krishna Bhagavan, alone, attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. Srila Prabhupada in his purport says, anyone who quits his body in Krishna consciousness is at once transferred to the transcendental nature of the Supreme Lord. Transcendental, for those of you that are new, means above material world, something that transcends matter, meaning spirit. If one wants to achieve success at the end of his life, the process for remembering Krishna is essential. Therefore, one should constantly, incessantly chant the Mahamantra. Just remember this for right now. So Krishna answers Arjun's question about what should a devotee be doing at the end of his life. And Bhagavan, remember me. So the idea is that, whatever state of consciousness, and this is an essential fact, that becomes apparent at one's time of death. The remembrance and attachment of kind of mundane things like my car, my job, my clothes, my country, etc., assures, according to Krishna, in the next life one will get an existence where that will happen. Whatever our attachment is, that's what we'll achieve, because we'll have remembered that at the end of our life. And there are many examples of this in our scriptures that attest to that. There's an example of Bharat Maharaj, who is a devotee, but at the end of his first life, he became attached to a deer, And the last thing he remembered was the deer. It was a little baby fawn, so he was compassionate, and that's the last thing he remembered. And so in next life, he achieved the body of a deer. And Ajamil, well, at the end of his life, he remembered Narayan, the name of the Lord. And as a result, he was able to achieve that situation. So the idea is that thoughts and images in our consciousness direct and transport us by creating an impression in our consciousness. The reality is that whatever is present in one's mind, the very last thought before death, that's absolutely what will appear in our next life. That's why people have like past life remembrances. I was this and that. I remember when I was a kid in the 1970s, like all these famous actors, they never, like I think one thought, well, she was Queen Cleopatra. Nobody thought, well, I could be like the handmaiden of Queen Cleopatra, It was like so much ego into the entire thing. So Mam Smaranam means remembering me, knowing me in truth. And like I mentioned, this how to remember Krishna will be discussed in the rest of the chapter. But just remember this, Krishna is saying, whatever you remember at the end of life, know for certain that's where your destination will be in the next life. Okay? So the question then becomes, well, as a devotee, because that was Arjun's question, Shri Jaisacinandana Dev Ki Jai. So those of you that are new, these are deities. They look like statues, but we treat them as living beings. So right now, they're going to receive food offering, and then we will get the remnants of that food as prasad, mercy. And then after that, they will get something called arti. Just, yes?
I'm sorry. Can you zoom in on the text? It's just a little too small for me to read.
Yeah, I tried. I'm sorry. I tried really hard, and if you include the Sanskrit, it's hard to zoom in. But I will summarize, and the subsequent slides become more succinct. So forgive me. It's verse 8.5 through 8.7 are the main verses. So they're getting an offering of food. We'll get the remnants. They're called prasadam, and then they'll have a welcoming, like when you welcome somebody to your home, you give them water, you give them a place to sit, you give those sorts of things. That kind of will happen afterwards in a little while. So Krishna answers, Shri Krishna Bhagavan answers Arjuna about how to remember. He says, Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajas ante kalivaram tam tam evati kantaya sadata bhava bharata. So whatever state of being one remembers when he quits his body, O son of Kunti, that state he will attain without fail. Srila Prabhupada's purport says, one's thoughts during the course of one's life accumulate to influence one's thoughts at the moment of death. So this life creates one's next life. If in one's present life one lives in the mode of goodness and always thinks of Sri Krishna, it is possible for one to remember Krishna at the end of one's life. Therefore the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare is the best process to successfully change one's state of being at the end of one's life. Notice he said that, Srila Prabhupada said that in the prior verse as well. Okay. So this instruction is important for all people, all living beings. So Krishna concludes by saying, Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaram yudhya cha mai arpito mano bhatir mam evarshasya samshaya. Therefore, dear Arjun, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. With your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Purport. Purport means Srila Prabhupada's explanation. It only took a sentence here and there from there, rather than the whole purport. The Lord does not say that one should give up one's duties or engagements. You can remain a student at PSU and live happily that way. One can continue them at the same time think of Krishna by chanting Hare Krishna. This will free one from material contamination and engage the mind and intelligence in Krishna. So what is the qualification here? So Krishna just explained the importance of remembrance. And Srila Prabhupada has highlighted the importance of remembrance of Krishna. So what is the qualification for attaining Krishna? It is one. It is prema. And this is an important verse from Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 5. Most important part is Pratir na yavam mai vasudev na muchyate deha yogina tattvat. Until one has love for Lord God, Shri Krishna, Vasudev, who is none other than myself, God himself is speaking this, he is certainly not delivered from having to accept a material body again and again. So the answer for devotees is we have to develop prema. We have to develop prema. So in order to attain prema, one has to keep Bhagwan, Lord Krishna, his names, his form, his qualities, pastimes, always within our heart. And how is this going to occur? Krishna himself said, right? Tasmat sarveshu kaleshu mam anusmaram yudhya cha mayarpito manobhattir. So it's only possible for one who cultivates smaranam in this life. Just like we cultivate other things in this life, the extent that we cultivate smaranam of Krishna by chanting his holy name, is that will help us to achieve prema. So what is the most important rule of bhakti? So what's the most important qualification for reaching spiritual world and having associated with Krishna? Prema. So how? What's the most important rule of bhakti? This is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Smartavya satatam Vishnu Vishnu arthaya najyutachet sarvidi nisheda shiur itayor eva kinkara. In the Padma Purana it is said, one should always remember Vishnu and never forget him. All injunctions and prohibitions are dependent on these two principles. Why? Because all rules are dependent upon remembrance of God. That's why Padma Purana emphasizes it. And by that one rule or regulation, everything else is completed. So satatam, what does satatam mean? Every Sunday? Every Christmas? Every day. Every day. Satatam. Because it's continuous remembrance. Now, the acharyas say it doesn't necessarily mean every second, because if we are in a body, that would be hard sometimes, because the need of the moment may pull you to something else. You know, you're driving, and all of a sudden somebody crosses a red light and comes right in front of you. You know, you have to do the needful. God is understanding and reasonable. It means, the acharyas say, daily. So that's the goal, is remembering Krishna at one's end of one's life. That's a successful yogi. That's a successful devotee. And the only way to get that goal is by developing prema. And the only way to get prema is to have remembrance of Lord. It's circular. So what are the three most important activities? Sri Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, Sarveshu Bhakteshu Angeshu Madhya Sravanam Kirtana Smarani Mukhayani. This is in his commentary to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.230. He says, among all the limbs of bhakti, Shravana, Kirtana, and Smaranam are the primary ones. Smaranam always follows Shravanam and Kirtanam. Why? Because it's nourished by Shravanam Kirtanam. It's the fruit of Shravanam Kirtanam. Are you following? So, to prove this, I just pulled out a couple of verses about the sequence. So, the way to get remembrance, the way to get prema is Shravana, Kirtanam, Smaranam. And specifically in that sequence. That's what I wanted to emphasize today. And to prove this, I pulled out there are innumerable verses in our scriptures, but just a couple of verses. The first thing Shukadeva Goswami says to Maharaj Parikshit is that in the very beginning he says, Stotavya kirtitavas cha smartavyas cha ichata abhayam. So, Strotraya, to be heard, Kirtitya, to be glorified, Smartavya, to be remembered, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. O descendant of King Bharat, one who desires to be free from all miseries, death is a misery, right? Must hear about Stotavya or Shravanam. Also glorify Kirtavya or Kirtanam. And remember the person you guard at, Smartavya, who is a super soul. So within us, we have a soul. Our identity of I comes from the soul. But accompanying the soul is God also, within every living being. And He's the controller and the savior of all of us from all miseries. That's what Shukadeva Goswami first says to Maharaj Parikshit in Canto 2, Chapter 1. That's one example. Then Shukadeva Goswami again says it. Tasmat sarvatma rajan hari sarvatra savada strotavya kirtivascha smartavyas bhagwan nirmanam. O king, it is therefore essential that every human being hear about, glorify, and remember the Supreme Lord, the person you guard at always and everywhere. Same sequence, it didn't change. And then the proof will be completed by these three examples, but there are many examples. So Sri Prahlad, Hiranyakashipu's son, the Mahajan, the pure devotee, says, Sharam Kirtan Vishnam, Smaranam Pada Sevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dashyam, Sakyam Atma Nivedena. Translation, Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, Shravanam, chanting, Kirtanam, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, pastimes of the Lord, and remembering them, Smaranam, and then he talks about the other limbs, are accepted as pure devotional service. Purport Srila Prabhupada says, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives the following explanation. Shravanam refers to giving oral reception. Oral reception means through the ear. To the holy name and descriptions of the Lord's form, qualities, entourage, and pastime. So I introduce one concept. There's one sequence. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Here's the second sequence. The Lord's name, Nam, form, Rupa, qualities, Guna, pastimes, Leela. Two sequences. Okay? So he says, Shravana refers to giving oral reception to the holy name and description of the Lord's form, qualities, entourage, and pastimes, as explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, and other authorized scriptures. After orally receiving such messages, one should memorize these vibrations and repeat them. Kirtanam. So kirtanam, can include And we'll get into this, chanting the holy name, but it can also be repeating the message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam as well. And then he says, Smarana means trying to understand more and more about the Supreme Lord. So fundamental to remembrance is this inquisitiveness into the nature of Madbhavam, the nature of Bhagavan. So just remember the two sequences. So in Bhakti Sandarbha, so Bhakti Sandarbha, how many of you have glanced through it? Anyone? Okay. Have you read it? Okay. So Bhakti Sandarbha, wonderful. So Bhakti Sandarbha is Jiva Goswami's attempt to put all of Vaishnava theology into a concise format. And see, he takes the entirety of Bhagavatam, all 12 cantos, and creates themes that explain the entirety of Bhagavatam. Why? Because his goal was to show, firstly, that out of all the scriptures, the Bhagavatam is most important. That was item 1. And item 2 was that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings were non-different from Bhagavatam. And therefore, conclusion, therefore, item 3, if Bhagavatam is the best of the teachings of the Vedas, and if Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings are the Bhagavatam, then what does that mean? It means Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teachings are the greatest scriptural knowledge. That was his brilliance. And that's the essence of Tattva Sandarbha, to show that. And so, but he has different elements. He has Tattva Sandarbha, he has Brahmatma Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha, Krishna Sandarbha, etc. So in Bhakti Sandarbha, Bhakti Sandarbha is that big. And it takes everything that Sri Rupa Goswami mentions about the limbs of bhakti and expands it in great detail. So he says specifically, the sequence within the limbs of devotional service include hearing, chanting, and remembering, right? And he said the specific sequence, and he gives references from Bhagavatam, should always be Sri Krishna's name, Nam, Sri Krishna's form, Guna, Sri Krishna's pastimes, Leela. Why? Because hearing begins with hearing Krishna's name and ends with hearing Sri Krishna's Leela. So you have the hearing, chanting, remembering, and you have name, form, qualities, pastime. So you start at, hearing the name, and you end by remembering Krishna's Leela. That this same order must be applied to all the limbs of devotional service. Nam, Rupa, Guna, Leela. So he expands, he says, chanting should be in the same form. Initially of Krishna's name, and then Krishna's pastime, chanting Krishna's pastime. So why do you think he's saying that this sequence must be followed? Chanting Krishna's name, chanting Krishna's form, etc. Why does all that come before smaranam, before remembrance? Any thoughts? Why is that sequence important? Purification of what? Purification of the heart. Through what? Through the process of chanting the holy name. Jiva Goswami actually in Bhakti Sandarbha says, Kirtanam is even more powerful than Smaranam. Why? Because it doesn't require purification of the heart. That doesn't mean Smaranam is not important. So, remembrance, recollection, all these things require purification of our heart. So why should that be the case? Because, as Prabhu said, Nam Shravanam is first because it purifies our heart. Then when we have purity and the capacity to hear about Sri Krishna's form, then, Rupa Shravanam. We hear about the beauty of Krishna in his form. Then we hear about Sri Krishna's qualities or his attributes, Guna Shravanam. And then we hear about his pastimes with his associates. In our scriptures, God is never by himself. He's always accompanied by those that love him the most. So to hear about him in the company of his associates is called Leela Shravanam. So, and then that same sequence applies for Kirtan, that same sequence applies for Smaranam. And just like a little while ago we went through Madhura Kadamani, at the state of Ruchi, does Anartha Nivritti disappear? No, it's present. At the state of Bhava, is Nishtha present? Yes. And likewise, the preceding practice, Nam Shravanam, doesn't disappear at time of Leela Smaranam. It's present. He said it's present, and it actually supports the subsequent practice. That's why in our Sampradaya you will always see the 6 Goswamis chanting and also having Leela Smaranam at the same time. And he gives a specific example. He gives many references to Bhagavatam. I didn't put that here since it's not Bhagavatam class. But he says Nam Smaranam is specifically, Nam Shravanam is supporting Nam Smaranam. It makes logical sense because it's the nature of our mind. So, we're coming back to the slide that we started with. Anta keli chama meva smaran mukta kalevaram ye priyati samadbhavam yada nashti atarsamasyaha. Whoever at the end of his life quits his body, remembering me alone at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So we have attachments in our life. And we work and survive because of our attachments. Without attachments, we would just be robots, right? Essentially. Attachments are of different grades and different colorations. They're not black and white, as we see in the world. Some are strong, some attachments are strong, and some attachments are weak. And some are somewhere in between. Some attachments are positive, and some attachments are not so wonderful. And our thought process and our emotions these are called vasanas. They're guided by these attachments or impressions. Why does somebody like, X and somebody else dislike X? Because it's an attachment from past life. And you can see proof of this when you're occupied by something outside of you. Then those attachments oftentimes get an opportunity to manifest themselves, right? In our like, dislike, our activities, what we do. Like, you may have an intense, loving relationship with someone, and that's a great, very big attachment for us, maybe, right? And our mind is always drawn to that. But if something outside, because of work or environment or other living beings comes, then oftentimes that attachment has to be put on the back burner. Yet that attachment will remain as an undercurrent of thought throughout our life. It won't go away. And as soon as you leave that work, then your attachment will manifest itself. You immediately start thinking of it, isn't it? Those of you that have loved ones in India, like spouses in India or whatever, or jobs that you don't really love, but there's other things you like, then that attachment goes undercurrent, as under layer. But soon as that immediate thing goes away, it comes to the top, right? And you immediately start thinking of it. I think we all have practical example of this, don't we? Yes? Anybody free from that? Not yet. So why do we fear death? Can anybody answer that? Why do we fear death? Yes.
It's an artificial imposition on the soul to who we are.
Okay, say that in plain English.
We're eternal.
Yes.
Future. And
Sure.
so to have the experience of
Yes.
linear life, beginning and end, is
Not natural.
it's not natural.
Okay, so that's a common, I think we hear that from our acharyas. Why else do we fear death? What do we fear? We fear that we're going to lose something, right? Our wife, our husband, our kid, our position, our bank account, our job. We fear we're going to lose something. That's why everybody in the body is afraid of death and illness. You can see this, if you think, even without death, like, okay, you're losing your job tomorrow. Is that going to cause you anxiety? Yes. Is that going to make you fearful? Yes. Your spouse has left you or is going to leave you. Is that going to cause anxiety and stress? Yeah. So if you lose your life, if we can see that even in a little semblance of little things like, job, car, house, etc. Imagine in death it means you're going to lose all of that. You're going to lose your job, not just you. I will lose my job, lose my family, lose my position, those beautiful kids that we all have, they're going to be left behind. That spouse, going to be left behind. That culture, I'm Indian, I'm this, I'm that, left behind. That's why we fear death. We fear losing something, and it's our attachments. And that's why when you see that when people are leaving their body, they immediately go to their natural, most intense attachment at the end of life. It pops up, that undercurrent comes up. Because external has all of a sudden, you're not doing external activity, you're lying in bed, if you're fortunate. And now you're losing it, and you're trying to hang on to it. So there's, Srila Prabhupada called it what? The great struggle for existence. Anybody who's seen anybody leave life knows that. In hospice care, since I'm a cancer physician, I see patients who are going to go to end of life. So when we can predict that your lifespan, one's lifespan is within 6 months, some patients will elect on hospice. No more active treatment, none of that, just comfort care. And that's great, because then they can focus on what is most important. But within a hospice kit, the hospice nurses come to people's home with a kit. And within that kit is morphine, because it's painful, and something called Ativan, because it helps you with relaxing your breathing, and that tremendous distress you will feel. Of course, if death is like that, no, don't even have to worry about that. But, whatever we think we're going to lose is going to come up. Our attachment is going to come up at the end of our life. You can see this, for example, here's another example. If a child is in fear, where does he or she go? Mother. Right now, he's with you. But if something serious happens, he's running for Padivali Mataji, right? They go to where their greatest attachment is. And so likewise, when we're dying, we're going to go to where our greatest attachment is. It'll manifest in our mind and it'll carry us to our next life. I see this regularly because I call spouses of my loved ones. I call them once I find out they passed away. Then I call them 1 week later, and then I call them a month later, call them a couple of months later, just because that separation creates loneliness. And you can see that the attachment for some is very, very strong. And we're in no position to judge, we have similar attachments, but we're in position to try to help. We're in position to try to help. I remember when I was a medical student, and those people that are in a Bhagavad Gita group have heard this story. I was in the intensive care unit, and there was this African American gentleman who had advanced lung cancer, and he said, "Come sit by me." And I said, I'm just a medical student. Medical students can't really do a whole lot. They don't have authority. I can't really do anything. I can't write for a nurse to do X, Y, Z for you. He said, "That's okay." He said, "Just sit next to me. Just sit next to me." And that's what I did. And that's when I said, yeah, this is the right field for a devotee. So people have attachments. And also because they're fearing loneliness, they're feeling separation. So that's where our attachment is, where we want to be. And that's what we're clinging to. So what's the rule? The rule is where our attachment is at the end of life, Krishna himself says, that's where you'll go. That will go as subtle impressions on the soul to the next body. And it will attract a body suitable for that. So here Krishna says, Ye priyati samad bhavam. So bhava does not mean an object, but rather it doesn't mean I'm attached to that object. Or it means a mood, right? Consciousness or an awareness. Because when you think of an object, right, Mataji? When you think of your husband when he's across the country, right? There's some emotion behind it, right? There's a thought, but there's an emotion. And so Krishna is not talking about the thought, he's talking about the emotion behind that thought. I might have attachment to my spouse, but the attachment may be, oh, she is such a wonderful devotee. May I have a mood like my wife. That will get us into the spiritual world. But my attachment's, oh, this is my wife, what is she going to do for me? What is she going to cook for me? That will get us the same situation next life. More of the same. So we have to remember, it's not the thought that matters, it's the consciousness, bhav behind that thought, which is important. So the verse talks about bhav, it doesn't talk about thought. So what should we do? We should cultivate our life first by trying to have nam shravanam, chant. And people used to say to Srila Prabhupada, what should I contemplate when I'm chanting? What did Srila Prabhupada say? It's because some people said, should I contemplate Radha Krishna and their Leela, the boat festival? What did Srila Prabhupada say? He said, that what was the next step in sequence? Sequence one was Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. Chant, hear, remember. So what did Srila Prabhupada always say? Hear. He never said Smaran. Like one Mataji, I heard said to Srila Prabhupada, can I think about all the suffering in the world? Did you hear this Srila Mataji before? What did Srila Prabhupada say? Srila Prabhupada said, do you even have the capacity to feel the suffering of everybody in this world? do that which was within your ability. That's why Srila Prabhupada had deep essential truths. I mean, the Bhakti Sandarbha was in there. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu was in there. That's why every verse I showed you, he said, chanting the holy name. Because remembering Krishna, Krishna Smaranam, Shishanitai Sachan Dev Ki Jai. Krishna Smaranam comes with Nam Shravanam. So remember that. And then when you have Nam Shravanam, remember next step is, Rupa Shravanam. Hear about his beauty, his form. Once you have that, then have Guna Shravanam. Hear about his qualities. When you have that, then add, the next step, Leela Shravanam. And I don't want to make it complex. Jiva Goswami says that you go from Nam Shravanam to, to like Guna Shravanam like this. But there's also interplay between Shravanam, Kirtanam, and Smaranam also. But just remember that sequence of that we all have to have Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. We all have to have that. It's essential. And we all have to have Shravanam of the name, the form, the qualities or attributes, and then of the pastimes of the Lord. And what you're trying to do by this is you're trying to put an impression on your mind and your intelligence. That's why Krishna says, Tasmat sarveshu kuleshu mam anusmaram yudhyacha mai arpito mano buddhir. My arpito mano buddhir. My intelligence and determination. My emotion should be there, but I should have a determination that I want to do this. So these two sequences can interplay very nicely. Just remember the order, okay? Jayalakshmi Mataji, what were the two sequences? Do you remember the two sequences? Sequence 1, Shravan, Kirtanam, Maranam. Sequence 2, Nam. So for each phase, each limb that exists. And Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj indicates that within Nam Shravanam, you have Nam Rupa, you have Nam Guna, you have Kirtan Rupa, you have Kirtan Smaran, etc. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. I humbly request you to keep my uncle, Gaurachandra Prabhu. Is there any way I can show this, Prabhu? Can I show his picture? Okay. Should I? Over here, there's an ad.
Can I use the second hand? Yes. Sorry.
I don't want to delay. So that's Gaurachandra Prabhu, my uncle. He became disciple in 1978. Both first and second initiation at the same time from Lord Krishna Maharaj. An exemplary devotee. Spent all his time chanting the holy name. The last thing he said was, Shri Shri Radha Niyamadav, before he took his last breath. Please pray for him. We all need blessings. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Let's stand and chant the holy name nicely. Hare Krishna. Madhusudan Prabhu, do you want to chant? Thank you for all your help. Huh? I'd ask Madhusudan. Huh?
Should I do this in the first?
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Here's the mic.
You can do. You are here after such a long time.
You should do it.
I will do nothing.
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Sing with me.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare. Oh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari, Nitai Sachinandana Gaura Hari. निताय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि निताय सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर श्री राधे राधा नील माधव राधा नील माधव श्री राधे गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल गौर हरि बोल जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर वैष्णव ठाकुर जय वैष्णव ठाकुर गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल श्री निताय सच्चिदानंद की प्रभुपाद की श्री वैष्णव ठाकुर की
जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र साथ हृदय इसी भक्तिवंत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। जय ओम विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र साथ हृदय भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की जय। जय श्री गुरु परंपरा श्री सत गोस्वामी की जय। श्री अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। श्री नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। इसकान फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। नवदीप धाम की जय। श्री जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। श्री अयोध्या धाम की जय। श्री गंगा माई यमुना माई की जय। श्री तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। श्री प्रहलाद मर्दन की जय। श्री हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। ताई गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। श्री श्री निताय सच्चिदानंद देव की जय। श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिम्हा भगवान की जय। श्री श्री राधा नील माधव की जय। ताई गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल। ऑल ग्लोरीज समबल डोरीज हरे कृष्ण। ऑल ग्लोरीज समबल डोरीज हरे कृष्ण। Glories, Sambal Doors, Hare Krishna. All glories, Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to His Divine Grace. Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai. We'll just have some announcements. Oh, Nrsinga Dev, sorry. Who's singing?
Don't need it. I am singing. You can play. I am singing. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Daine. Prahlad Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshah. काशी पूर्वक्षः शिलाटंका न खालाये शिलाटंका न खालाये इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतो आमि ततो नरसिंहा यतो यतो आमि ततो नरसिंहा बहे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा बहे नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहा नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं नाम प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये नरसिंहमदिं शरणं प्रपद्ये तव कर कमल भरे नाखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगाम केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल भरे नाथा अद्भुत श्रृंगार दलिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृंगा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश जगदीश जय जगदीश हरे जयो केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जयो नरसिंहदेव 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 जयो नरसिंहदेव जय नरसिंहदेव 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 जय नरसिंहदेव जयो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जयो प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज प्रहलाद महाराज जय प्रहलाद महाराज जयो निताय सचिनंदन निताय सचिनंदन निताय सचिनंदन गौर हरि जय निताय सचिनंदन निताय सचिनंदन निताय सचिनंदन गौर हरि जयो जयो प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद प्रभुपाद Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, 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 Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Hari Bol. विघ्न विनाशक श्री लक्ष्मी नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, भक्त शिरोमणि श्रीला प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री श्री निताय सचिनंदन देव भगवान की जय, जगत गुरु श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे।
Huh? Excited? At least one person. Okay, so can we show who's here for the very first time? I met some devotees here, and I see 1, 2. Okay. I know I asked before, but there are more people, so just for them. So if you can stand up, maybe starting from here, and introduce yourself. I know some of you already did. I'm sorry to make you do it again, but I thought it'd be good for people to know you. So, first time, so what do we say? Haribol, Haribol, Haribol. That says chant the names of God.
I'm Juan. I'm taking a course on world religions, and so I'm studying Hinduism. So, this is one sect of it. So, I'm from Portland, Oregon, in Portland State.
Thank you. And you're here with your dad,
Here with my dad.
who's Sripada. Nice, thank you. And then I think anyone else, I saw a hand there, and I saw one behind you. So I think, can you just say what your name is? You can stand, if that might be easier.
My name is Amber. I'm from Portland. I'm originally from Texas. I'm here with my friend Anjana.
Hare Krishna, thank you for bringing Amber, right?
Yes.
From where in Texas are you from?
Houston.
I'm flying out there tonight. I figure it's going to be hot. You? Haribol.
My name is Panshu. I've come from India in May.
And
Actually from the state itself where we had Jagannath Puri.
sure. Which is what is it called?
State Odisha.
He's from there. Here. You're a fellow. And then there's another devotee who's from there. We have good contingent. Yes, Jagannath Ji ki jai. So, Jai Jagannath. Thank you.
In the same which we did Rath Yatra in, I think, I don't remember the exact place.
Last year, you mean?
Sorry?
Go ahead, finish your sentence.
I was saying that I participated in the Rath Yatra which happened in that HPC something, some Balaji temple.
Oh, okay. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes. We're hoping we'll have a Rath Yatra. We have Rath Yatra every year, and we participate to the Beaverton Parade. And this year there's a possibility that we're going to get the big Rath, like the full-size Rath. So that'll be pretty cool. So, like, yes.
Mike Savage.
Mike.
I went to the Christian temple in the year 2000.
Yes.
Glad to come back.
Yes, so Mike was here from the very beginning when we started class. He went to there are many iterations of the Hare Krishna temple, and the one he went to was in Southeast Portland. Gordon Prabhu was there, and I think Robert was there too, maybe. So some of us remember those good old days. So welcome back. Nice to see you. And okay, I think that's it for today as far as new people. Announcements, upcoming events. Do you want to go ahead? So on the 17th, there's something to get really excited about. It's a chance to come and help clean the temple. So it's Maha cleaning. So we'll be cleaning, the deity room, and then here, the kitchen, the Prasadam hall, etc. The idea is we're welcoming Balramji and Shri Krishna Bhagwan for their appearance. So the idea is to clean house. So if you can all make an attempt to come, we have a volunteer sheet for that. Do you want to show that? Or afterwards? So here's a volunteer sheet, and a fair number of devotees have signed up. But please come and do what you can. I mean, even if you can just come for an hour, it's still a very nice service. And there's the link, tinyurl.com, Maha Cleaning 2024. So I don't see everybody pulling out their phones and writing it down, but please do come. Okay, next. And consider sponsoring. Okay, go backwards. Yeah. And then on 19th, we'll have the appearance of Shri Balaramji, who is none other than Lord Nityananda, the Adi Guru. And so he appears before Shri Krishna Bhagwan. So that's going to be on the 19th, which is a Monday. So we'll have an evening program on that day with Abhishek, Arati, etc. So please come for that. Announcement will go out on that. And then 1 week later is our largest festival, which is Sri Krishna Janmashtami. It's on the 26th, which is a Monday. And we know that that's a busy day for a lot of devotees, a lot of people. But please come and help. Your services are valuable. If you can come on Sunday and help, that would be great, because it usually takes us about 2 days to set everything up with outside and inside and prep for cooking and all that. So if you can, and putting together flower garlands, decoration. So please do try to come for that on the weekend before. And we have a sign up on that one too, I think, right, Prabhu? So do you want to show that sign up? Okay, not that one, not that one. Yes, so here, oops. So need volunteers for distributing invites. We have little flyers, little cards, and if you live in a big complex, then Madhusudan Prabhu can speak about coordinating this. So it's to create awareness. I remember being in Delhi one time, I think it was in August or something, and there was just these signs all over Delhi saying, "He's coming," and just had the eyes, it's like, who's coming? So we're just trying to create awareness in a small way. So please help out with that. And was that it, Prabhu? You can consider sponsoring upcoming festival, any seva. It's on that calendar is on the wall behind this wall, so you can see that there, or you can do it through the website. Okay, next one. And you can sponsor Sunday feast. Today's Sunday feast was sponsored by Srikant Dokala. Is Srikant Prabhu here? Hare Krishna. What's the occasion?
That's for my mother's second anniversary.
Your mother's second anniversary? What was your mother's name? Lakshmi. We pray she's departed this world. We pray that she is at the lotus feet of her Lord, Lord Narayan. Thank you very much. That's the best way that you can serve her, because she will get blessings of Bhagwan and of the Brahmins. Okay? And then there are all these other days available. Janmashtami is our single most expensive event because of the sheer size. And if you can kindly donate whatever is in your heart for Janmashtami, please do so. It's very pleasing to the Lord, and it helps us in a practical manner. Okay, do you want to, I think that's it for announcements. Do you want to talk about the cards? This is Madhusudan Prabhu, and him and others are, one other thing. India Day is occurring in, I think right now in Beaverton. Do you have a link for India Day, Prabhu, or no? It's near Beaverton Library. We have a tent there. Please go and encourage them and support them. They'll love it. Okay. And I guess the grand announcement is there are new saris in the gift shop, Govardhan Prabhu. Exciting? He's texting away. Gordon Prue. What? We have new saris in the gift shop.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes. That's probably what all the guys are thinking, but ladies, go at it. For some reason, they disappear very fast, unlike Kurta and Dhoti. So please take if you want to. You get a great deal. The gift shop is just this way. Okay, thank you.
I was just texting him and letting him know that there's new saris, and that's why I was on my phone.
Haribol. Hare Krishna. So as Prabhuji mentioned, we will be celebrating Sri Krishna Janmashtami on 26th, right? And to invite the guest, we have printed some postcard, we have some flyer and the big posters as well. So devotee today as a India Day Parade Festival, they are also distributing and inviting this, inviting the congregations to come and celebrate Janmashtami with us. We have printed around 2,000 of this postcard, and obviously we need your help, right? The first way is while going today, take few with you, like, and distribute it to your friend. Not just distribute, invite them to come to participate in Janmashtami. Take 4 or 5 or 10, whatever you can. Only idea is it should not be just lying in your car or in the home somewhere. You need to take and give it to your friends and invite them. In the Mass, we are trying to see on 15th, 16th, and 17th in front of the Indian stores in Beaverton area, right? We have Indian Spices, Apna Bazaar, Krishna store, right? Those stores, we will be distributing the flyers in the evening, around 5 p.m. onwards till like 8:30, 9 p.m., right? That's the only weekend probably before the Janmashtami comes. So we need your help. We need basically 12 devotees, 4 in front of each store. If you are interested, and I would highly recommend, please come. Please see me or Vedak Madhav Prabhuji, who is leading the book distribution and the flyer distribution at India Day Festival today. And obviously, as Prabhuji said, we need lots of volunteer for preparation for Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So please sign up for the service on 25th, is Sunday. Apart from the usual Sunday feast program, the Mataji, of course, will be making the garlands. There will be some prep for the feast for the following day. And of course, the help on 26th from morning 8 a.m. onwards. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Any questions? Okay, I think we're ready for prasadam. So, yes, please come. I'm sorry, as usual. So Shripada Mataji is going to speak some memories of Srila Prabhupada, and then we can have prasadam after prayers.
Hare Krishna. So Srila Prabhupada said that this bhakti process is for everyone, but not just anyone. So what does that mean? Prabhupada also says in the introduction of Bhagavad Gita that the Bhagavad Gita, to understand it, it is very difficult. He says it's a great mystery. So how is it that we can understand? It's through oral reception. Oral reception is hearing through our ears, an open mind, and our hearts. So Srila Prabhupada was having a conversation with Jamuna Devi Dasi, and this is from the Dancing White Elephants. Yes, if we open our heart, then open-heartedly, it will be nice, no reservation. And that open-heartedness means free from designation. That is open-heartedness. If I think, oh, I am American, why shall I take this Indian philosophy? Or if I think, I am Christian, why shall I take the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita? Then it will not work. One has to be free from these designations. Then it will be easy. God is God, and I am part and parcel of God, my relationship with God. So let me understand, what is that relationship? What is God? What I am? That freedom, that open-heartedness will make it. But if I try to understand as Christian, as Englishman, as Japanese, as Indian, then it will be difficult. Many of our students joined, even initiated, but they could not make themselves free from these stereotyped ideas. When the spirit soul renders service unto the Supreme, there are two side effects. One is freed from all material designations, and one's senses are purified simply by being employed in the service of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you so much. We'll have prasadam prayers and then can go up the stairs. Would anybody like to chant prasadam prayers? Why is it never gets a hand up?
Jai Mahaprasad ki